Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so by clicking on the subscribe button. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to use drop down in Microsoft Excel. So why do you want to use a drop down? So you want to use a drop down when you have like an automated data pipeline whereby you have link your dashboard to a data source. In this instance, we're going to be using Excel. Okay. And you don't also want to have a messy data. In a nutshell, you want to have a quality data, especially when you have a data entry officer that has a high chance of entering wrong or messy data as a result of maybe spelling error or some mistakes. Okay. So let me give you an example. You and I know that US, USA, and let's say America, they are the same thing. Right? These are three different words. They are the same thing. But computer is going to treat it differently. Computers are dumb. They only have faster processing capacity. Humans are smarter. You understand? So, in all fairness to the computer, anyway, these are actually three different things, but we all know that it means the same thing. And this is going to be an issue for you if you are running an automated, data pipeline whereby you already have your dashboard built. So if you have this kind of entry, let's say on your country column, you are going to have an issue because it's going to treat them differently. Okay, so I have a small data set here. So the first date is the column. So this is supposed to be, let's say this is supposed to be country and not department. If I click on the filter button, by the side of the column, we have like six, different countries: Australia, Canada, India, New Zealand, where this sales is actually, taking place, and their payments, revenue, profit margin. So we want to be populating this particular country feed or country column in such a way that we don't want the data entry officer to select something different from this particular column. We have established we only need, we're operating in 6 different countries. Okay. So we don't want the person to, in the process of writing US, he or she mistakenly type, USA. USA in this context is different from USA. So that is what we want to deter. And that's why we are creating the drop down button. So to create a drop down button, so this is what we are going to do. I'm going to copy all this our established country that we want to use. So you can go and paste it anywhere. So let me open another sheet here. So I'm going to say paste as values. Then I'm going to remove the duplicate. To do that, click on data. Then you go to remove duplicates on your ribbon. So I'm going to click on remove duplicate. So we are left with, 6 unique countries. Okay, so that's the first step. So have your countries that you needed selected in a particular, column in a separate sheet, or it can be in the same sheet, but I don't want it to be confusing. That's why I'm putting it in a separate sheet. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is want to go to the next row where the data entry officer is going to pick out of these countries that have, selected, on the other sheet. Okay, so to do that, just click on the cell in that particular column for the next row. Then you go to your data ribbon and you click on, by the side of text column, you will see data validation. Okay, so I'm going to click on this drop down by the side. So you can see data validation here. Just click on the data validation. So this data validation wizard pops up. So you can see you have allow and you have data. So we are going to be concerned alone with this, allow feed. So under the allow, just click on the filter button or drop down by the side. So you can see this is also a drop down. You understand? So it's just telling you that, okay, these are the things that you can select for allow. So because we have our countries in the list, so I'm going to select list. So you can see I have list here. So now the next one we'll do is the source. So it's asking us what is the source of our list that we have selected here. Okay, so I'm going to pick on this list right now. So I'm going to go to the next or the particular location of my list. So it could be anything. It could be a list of products, could be a list of salesperson that you want the data entry officer to only select. And you don't want them to make any mistakes or error in the selection of the data. So I'm going to select all the countries. So you can see the it's from column A1 to A6, right? Feature. So if you know that there's not going to be possibility of having more country, you can stop it at the last row of the list. But because there might be a reason why, I want to have more countries in the future. I mean, this has happened to me in my organization whereby, the data entry officer were stuck because the column is not going to, the wizard is not going to allow them to type anything. So I have to allow for, like, let's say 3 different rows in case I have, 3 different, countries in the future. So I've allowed for A7, A8 to A9. So I'm selecting to A9 now. So that is my list location. Then I will go back by clicking on this. So I'll tell him that I'm selecting from cell A4, so sorry, from cell A1 to cell A9 on the sheet 4 list. That's exactly what this means. Sheet 4, cell A1 to A9. Okay, that is where our source is. So I'm going to click on OK. So this is our filter button now. So of course, I expect that you will have typed whatever date that you want. We are not concerned about the date. We are only concerned about the filter button here. So if I click on this guy here, you can see all the countries are being highlighted, the countries inside the list that we have created. So I can select Canada. If Canada is the country that I want to select, I can select India. I can select Australia. So now what is happening that it's deter the data entry officer from typing. Let's say I want to type something now. Let's say I want to type, America. So you can see the error message. Say the value does not match the data validation restrict defined for the cell. So there's a restriction on this particular cell in this column that you just have to select the values in the list. That's the restriction. So we can't select, we can't type America or any other thing. So you can see it's telling us, okay, the next thing is Australia. So now what you just do is just come in and select US. Okay, so then you can now continue with the other one. So you can also do the, you can do for payments. Also, again, it's only for string data type, like your text data type. So I've done for my USA now. I can now continue with the payment, the revenue, the profit, etc. Now, this is only for this particular row. So if I come to the next row now, you can see that this particular drop down is no longer there again in the next row. So I only did that for only this row. So I need to find a way to cascade it down to the the last row of the data, probably the last row it exists, so that it should be continuous. As more data are coming in, the data entry officer is filling it, and so on. So what I need to do here is that I need to cascade this particular rule or the data validation down to the last row of my table or my data. Okay, so to do that is very easy. To do that, what you just need to do is to select any of the values or the countries, copy the country, then go to the next row, select it, do a Control Shift down, then paste whatever you copy. You can see this is the last row in Excel, 1,048,000 rows. So I'm just going to do a Control V. So I've successfully copied and pasted, everything inside of the row from A to Z, although you may not be working with 1,048,000 rows of data ideally. So I've done that. So what I now need to do is to now delete everything being highlighted again. Don't forget, what you first need to do is to copy the first selection, do a Control Shift down, then paste everything in that particular column from top to bottom. After you do that, then you now click on delete. So now I can now, select, let's say I'm selecting US here. So the next row, I can select, Canada. The next one, I can select India and so on. And so with this now, the data entry officer are very unlikely to impute a wrong value. And you are going to be guaranteed of a quality data, and your data pipeline or your dashboard can be sure of, having the right analysis. Okay. So now let's go to the other part. So let's say after like 3, 4, 5 months, we are selling in another country. Let's say we are now selling in Germany, right? So the implication is that our data entry officer would not be able to type Germany. Let's say he wants to, okay, there's a new sales now, and he or she has to record that sales. So I'm typing Germany now. So we cannot type Germany, we cannot enter Germany. So instead, what we are going to do is to go to our location of our drop down. Now, don't forget we have allowed for 3 more rows or 3 more values. So in here, you cannot type your Germany or any other new values that are coming on board. Okay, so now if I go back to our main sheet, so if I now click on this drop down, you can see now we now have Germany there. Remember, Germany was never there before. So I can now, select Germany, and, I can now start working on it. If again, there's a new country, let's say Spain, we have now expanded our business to Spain. So I can now go back now, then I can now select Spain, and so on and so on. So if you are anticipating for more values in the future, you can allow for more rows, including of your existing rows. Okay. So that's how to create, drop down. You can create it for any text variable, any string variable, and you are sure of having, a very clean, a very quality data, and your data pipeline is assured. So you can always refresh your dashboard in any application, whether it's in Power BI or in Tableau, that you have linked to your sheet. Thank you guys for staying to the end of this tutorial. If you like my video, do not forget to subscribe, like, and share so that I can create more meaningful content. Till we meet again, be good. Thank you.